Hello everybody and welcome to Spooky Sunday. I thought it might be fun to talk about some ghostly experiences that I've had, and maybe you could email me yours at paleandbeyond@gmail.com. You can always find my email address in the About section of the channel. I can't promise to do this every Sunday, it all depends on what's going on, of course, but I thought this might be something a bit more light-hearted to chat about and discuss. So I don't know how you feel about ghosts. My feet are firmly on the ground. I'm very open-minded. I don't really close the door on a lot of things, but I can only talk about my own experiences. Now, I've never seen a ghost, and actually I'd rather not. Not really something I would particularly like to do. You won't find me at paranormal investigations, because if there's anything that freaks me right out, it's things like that. It's that kind of feeling that you don't really know what you're messing about with. So I'm not into Ouija boards and I'm not into any of that stuff. I really don't want to be summoning up anything that I don't really want to meet. So what has inspired me to do this? Well, I've always been fascinated. I think we all have, and we all are, unless that you do get folk who just shut the door on it and say no, doesn't happen. But I have had some odd experiences in my life, and I am just talking about the ghostly stuff here right at the minute. I run my own cleaning business, so that's what I do as my main job at the moment. And I work in an old house that dates back to 1820, and I'm always there cleaning on my own. So I think it was the second week I was there, and I was over at the kitchen sink doing some cleaning over there, and the kettle turned on by itself. It just came on. And it was kind of a weird feeling, because it was I was trying to look for that logical explanation, but I was at the other side of the kitchen. So that was strange, but it didn't make me feel so uncomfortable I wanted to get out of there. I just went and turned the kettle off, and I did find myself in my head having a little bit of a laugh to this supposed ghost, saying, well, thank you, I haven't got time for a cup of tea, maybe next time. So anyway, that was it, and I mentioned it to the lady who owns the house, who says that actually she can feel things there sometimes, and she finds herself talking out loud to somebody in the house sometimes. So anyway, I thought no more of it, and I think another 2 weeks went past, and in fact it was yesterday I went to do my cleaning session there, and I was in the bathroom, again, the other side of the bathroom, and a bowl shot off the shelf. It was on the bottom shelf, and it even flipped upside down. I was nowhere near it. And again, it's weird. Yeah, I wasn't freaked out or anything, but I looked at it and thought, okay, I can't work out how that's happened. So I just put the bowl back on the shelf and carried on. A bit later, I was vacuuming downstairs, and I'd moved a sort of outdoorsy kind of North Face hoodie type thing, and I'd put it on a different chair. And I turned around, and the arm of this hoodie was just swinging. I thought, okay, has this vacuum knocked it somehow? And I could not see any way that this Hoover vacuum that I was using could have knocked the arm. And do you know what? Even if I'd knocked the arm, how does the arm of a hoodie just swing? It swung for a good 15-20 seconds, and I just stood there watching it. Again, I didn't really feel freaked out. I think I felt a little bit uncomfortable at that. I carried on and kind of got in the car, and I left and thought, okay, quite happy to leave today. But how strange, if you've got any sort of logical explanations for how the arm of a hoodie would swing for that amount of time, I would love to hear it. So as I said, please do email me your ghostly stories. I've got another little section to do now. My own experience was I had my own house years ago in an old part of town, and that dated back to the 1700s and used to be part of a convent school. Now, in this house, just similar sort of things would happen. I never saw a ghost or anything, but once I bought this house and moved in, there was something about upstairs that I didn't like, and I didn't sense that on my first few visits where I decided to buy it. But as time went on, I didn't really like sleeping upstairs, which wasn't ideal, not when you've just bought a house. So anyway, I had a sofa bed in the lounge, and more I started sleeping downstairs because I just felt more comfortable down there. One evening, or one night I should say, and it was just me and my dog living together, I thought, come on, don't be stupid, just go upstairs to your bed, you've got a perfectly nice bedroom. And it's the first time in my life, probably since I was a child, that I just wanted to sleep with a light on. I thought, okay, and I left the bedroom door open, and this bedroom had a really thick carpet. And I don't know, I just felt really uncomfortable up there, but I stuck with it and I started reading a book. And about 20 minutes after I sat there, my bedroom door slowly closed. It didn't close so that it the handle clicked into place, but it just slowly glided to a closed position. Now, there is no way on earth that the wind could have done it. It was the sort of carpet door situation where you'd have to actually push the door to close it, and it just glided that way. My dog didn't growl or anything. He just kind of looked up, and I sort of froze and thought, okay, not keen on that. And if I remember, I went back downstairs and slept on the sofa bed. Now, this happened again. It was an afternoon, maybe sort of 3 or 4 months later, and I'll be honest, I had a bit of a hangover. I'd been out the night before, and I was tired, and I'd had quite a lot to drink. It was somebody's party or something, so I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go upstairs to my bed with my dog. He always came up with me, and I'm going to chill out. And the same thing happened that afternoon. I'd been up there 20, 30 minutes, and slowly the door closed again. So that was that. I carried on then, just occasionally trying to sleep upstairs, but thinking, I don't know why I'm putting myself through this. But because it was my own house, I kept thinking, I've got to do this. I can't just ignore the fact I've got a bedroom. So one afternoon, I think I'd been working late, and I thought, I'm going to have an old lady's nap, I call them. So I went up for an old lady's nap, and as I was up there was an almighty crash downstairs. It was about 4 PM. My dog started going ballistic, barking, and it was one of those moments where if you saw it in a film or a movie, you would say, oh yeah, sure, you just heard a big crash in the kitchen. Go down on your own, won't you, and have a look. And I'd watch these films saying, oh, you just wouldn't do that, you'd get out of the house. No, I did exactly what they do in the films, and I went downstairs and thought I'd find out what was going on. I actually thought somebody had broken in, and I still went down. But no, nobody had broken in, but a tin that I'd had on top of my kitchen cupboards had flown off and was just lying on the middle of the kitchen floor. So, being logical, I thought, I know what's happened. I've opened the kitchen door so many times, it's made the tin sort of wobble on the top and it's fallen down. No, my cupboards actually had a pelmet, I think that's what you call them, going around the top so that the cupboard door didn't go anywhere near the actual top of the cupboard. And the tin had been sitting quite far back on top of the kitchen cupboard. I've just got to stop there. Can you hear this? Yeah, that's my little elderly terrier, Boo. I did mention her in the community tab today. She's one of the tip tappers that do provide background noise for my videos. So yes, I do apologise, guys. My dogs like to walk around, and little Boo has got a bit of dementia. She sort of walks around quite a lot, sort of forgetting that she'd been there a minute ago, and she's off again for a little walk, bless her. How funny, she's called Boo as well, and we're doing Spooky Sunday. Anyway, let me carry on. Another time I got up, my bathroom was downstairs, and as I approached the bathroom one time, I could hear something going on in the bathroom. And when I walked in, my electric toothbrush was just whirring away on the sink. Now, this toothbrush had not worked for about 6 months. I'm not telling a word of a lie. It did have batteries in, but they were dead. There was nothing that would work. It was just going crazy on the side of the sink. But I thought, you know what, maybe there's a connection loose or something. I'll turn it off. Turned it off. The very next day, as I approached the bathroom after waking up in the morning, I could hear it again, and that toothbrush was going mad again on the side of my sink. Didn't like that very much either. Now, 2 more things happened in that house. One was I had friends come and stay with me, and we were sat in the kitchen, and we'd been in there all night, and I was chatting away to them, and I heard this kind of thud. And my friend Simon said to me, "Did you see that?" And I said, "No." He said, your kitchen window just shut. Now, I had really old sash windows, you know, the type they're sort of wooden framed, and you have to push them up and push them down. Now, mine had actually been painted shut, and it was, I'd managed to loosen them a bit, but I had to get onto the worktop and push with all my might to get them closed, and, to get them open, and then push with all my might to get them back down again. Something about this made Simon look, and he said, "That was just really odd, it glided shut." So I said, "Oh, that's weird." I said, "Go try and open it now." So he went onto the worktop. He had to climb onto the worktop and push up with all his might. And he had to push back down with all his might to shut it again. So that was another bit of a weird thing there. But the big one for me, and now my mum and dad have sadly passed away now, but at the time that I had just bought the house, my mum was still alive, and I had been sitting at my dining table. Now, do you remember I say the old days, but it was early noughties. I used to play my CDs via my DVD player. So you'd get like a menu of nothing on your screen, but it would just go from track to track. And I think it was around sort of, I can't remember, but anyway, I was on a laptop on the table. It was about 2006, I think. And I was sitting on my laptop in my dining area with music playing, and my little Cairn Terrier, I'm on my 3rd Cairn Terrier at the moment, I love them, but Johnny, my Cairn Terrier, always lay on top of the sofa, and all of a sudden my TV turned off. But it wasn't that as such. It wasn't on one of those timers that, you know, your TV automatically turns off after a couple of hours, you know, those energy saving things that you can program your TV to do. It wasn't that. It was one of those TVs with a really bulky back. Anyway, I was sat there and it went off, but there was loads of static coming off the telly. And what really freaked me out was that Johnny, my dog, sat up and all the hackles went up and he started snarling at the TV. And I have to say, I shot out of there that night. I didn't like it. I think it was the dog's reaction that made me freak out. He didn't do that with all the other stuff. Yes, he barked when there was a crash downstairs, but both of us just watched the door close. But yeah, he did not like what was going on at the TV area at that point. And I thought, well, how does he know that I haven't just turned the TV off with the remote? It was just like fizzing with static, and he just snarled at it. I said, "You know what, Johnny, we're going to my parents for the night." So I did. I threw some stuff in a bag and we shot out of there, and I drove to my parents and spent the night there. So now this bit you might laugh at, but I've got an aunt who is quite sort of witchy-ish. Quite sort of spiritual, but into Reiki and believes she can communicate with people on the other side. So I did ring her because I was getting scared in my own house at that point. And she said to me that she felt there were presents in the house, but they weren't harmful, and that I should talk to them. And she said you should talk to them in your head because you're closer to their plane of existence in your mind. And there's part of me sitting there thinking, oh God, yeah, whatever, okay, auntie. But I went back into that house and I walked around it, and I found myself in my head saying, it's okay, I know you're here. Can we just get along, please? I live here, you live here. You know, I mean you no harm, and I'm just going to get on with my thing. You get on with yours. I don't have a problem with that. I did this a few times, and nothing ever happened again. Nothing ever happened again. And to this day, I look back on all of that and think, God, did I imagine that stuff going on? But I didn't imagine it, and I couldn't explain it. If you can help me explain it, I would love to know your theories or your explanations, because I'll always look for the logical explanation. But, you know, when I was getting kind of nervous in my own property, I figured talking to something that may or may not be there was worth a try. So those are just a couple of my experiences that I thought I'd share with you this spooky Sunday. Please do, either in the comments section or via email, share anything that you've experienced, or even sort of some ghost stories you've heard from friends, and we can have some light-hearted chat on a Sunday and share our spooky stories. And on that note, I wish you a very pleasant Sunday evening. Don't get spooked out, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.